In 13.4, and our learning goal is that I can graph a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So we have some vocab that we need to know before getting started. So first we have the x-intercept, and this is the intersection of the point where the line crosses the x-axis. So what this means is it's where the line crosses right here, and that because the line crosses the x-axis, this point in which it crosses that x-axis is our x-intercept. And this occurs at y equals 0. So that means that we go up 0, but we go over until we meet that line or that intersection point. So the y-intercept is the intersection of the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So that is this point right here, and that's where that line crosses and goes through our y-axis. And this occurs when y is 0, or when x is 0, So when we're looking at that, we're not having to go left or right. We just go straight up, and we find where that point goes through, or that line goes through the y-axis, and at that point is the y-intercept. So slope-intercept form is a linear equation written in the form y equals mx plus b. This is super important. You're going to need this from here on out in algebra, algebra 2, all of your math classes. The slope of the line is represented by an m, and the y-intercept is represented by b. So let's look at the example 1. So it says find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. So when writing an equation using slope, we always keep the slope written as a fraction, and that's super important. So let's make sure we have that written down first. All right, so A, it says y equals negative 4x minus 2. So remember from above we said that we write it in y equals mx plus b form, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So what's really cool about this equation is right away we know that where the m is, this is our m, that is our slope. So the thing next to the x is always our slope, so that's negative 4. And our b is always the consonant, which means it's by itself. And so our y-intercept is negative 2. And the reason we know it's negative 2 is because normally we have a plus in the equation. But remember, a negative and a subtraction sign are the same thing. So when we look at the equation and we see minus 2, it also means negative 2. So y minus 5 equals 3 over 2x. So remember, we want it in y equals mx plus b form. But right now, the y isn't by itself. Right now, we have this negative 5 or minus 5 next to it. So in order to get our equation into slope-intercept form, we need to move this negative 5 to the other side. In order to do that, we use what we've been using when solving equations. We draw our line, and if I need to get this negative 5 to the other side, that means I have to do the opposite. And so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So now negative 5 plus 5, those cancel out, and I just have y equals, and then this has a variable on it, so we have this x, and this one doesn't have an x. So we can't add those together, so that means that we just bring it over, so 3 over 2x, and then plus 5, because we can't combine those are not like terms. And so now we have the equation in y equals mx plus b form because we have a y, we have something next to our x, and then we have this consonant at the end. So our slope is our m, and our b term is 5, which is our y-intercept. So we have a slope of 3 over 2, and we don't include the x in that, we just do the 3 over 2. That's our slope. And our y-intercept is just 5. So now I want you to do 1 and 2 on your own, and then you'll check your answers with mine.